Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, or whatever time period it is wherever you are in the world, and welcome to a very interesting World of Darkness one-shot using 5th edition rules, where the glorious people here, the lovely individuals here, will be playing mortals, fighting against vampires. And before we go any further, can everybody just introduce themselves to me, and let's start with the host of the Twitch channel themselves.
Hi, I'm Faye the Pagan. Hi, this is my Twitch. I will be playing Amber Voss tonight.
Who
Hi.
is the glorious redhead?
Hi, my name is Syrinx, and I will be playing Camille Baudin tonight.
And the one in the denim jacket.
Hi there, I'm Abby, but I will be playing Bethany Shaw tonight.
And I'm Kin Spooky, and I'm playing Emily Swanson today.
I am the Law by Night podcast by your storyteller for the evening, and judge, jury, and potentially executioner. Now, before we go any further, I just want to say that this interesting World of Darkness one-shot is a one-shot intended for mature adult audiences, so your viewer discretion is advised. If there's anything that happens during the stream that makes you feel a bit uncomfortable, by all means, walk away or have a little break. My priority is your fun and your mental health, and if any of those things aren't happening, I'll do my best to accommodate that, but no one's going to judge you if you need to take some time out or just avoid this stream entirely. Now I ask the players, are we sitting comfortably? Good. Then let's begin. Our world, this aptly named World of Darkness, is filled with terrible monsters that play political chess with each other. They forever squabble over the same toys, tossing out the old ones for slightly better, newer models. Both you and I know the sort of wars they have and the conflicts they exchange for domains, how their actions dictate the world of mundane, but said ordinary mortals are mostly unaware of these egotistical mind games. Some arguably more sinister than the tamest of supernatural. Plenty of these nasty humans walk the streets, the wolves in fashionably sheep's clothing. Many, however, are not so lucky to garner such freedom. Some parade the prison halls through reasons dictated by safety and security, which really says plenty about the justice system in the West. The vast majority, however, do not enjoy prison. This story begins in one of these lockups. Her Majesty's Prison Bronzefield, HMP Bronzefield. It's an adult and young offender female prison located on the outskirts of Ashford in Surrey in England, surrounded by a large, greyish-creamish hexagonal wall. To put things in perspective, it will take you about half an hour to walk around the entire perimeter. Bronzefield is the only purpose-built private prison solely for women in the UK, and it is the largest female prison in Europe, housing some of the UK's most violent and dangerous women. Arsonists, killers, and worse call Bronzefield their home, including our 4 lovely ladies who are spending their first Christmas in prison. Well, perhaps not lovely, but you get what I mean. The 4 prisoners find themselves in their cells, which may not seem all that strange to you. Where everyone should be having whatever slop is presented as Christmas dinner, everyone has been forced back to their cells, for a hostage situation is underway. From what you can tell, Delilah Hernandez, one of the more volatile inmates, has taken another hostage. You're unsure why. It is difficult to make out what exactly is going on. There's a lot of shouting. Furious pandemonium claps around the dirty brick walls. The cacophony yelling is enough to cripple the weak-willed, breaking them down to tears. You can probably hear the occasional loud sob here and there. Now, whilst this is going on, I have to ask what is going through the minds of our prisoners at this time. How are you coping with all that is going on outside the cells? How are you faring your first Christmas behind bars, Bethany?
I'll be honest, I didn't want to be here. I don't think anyone wants to be here. It's prison for a reason. But I'm not handling as well as I thought I would. The whole thing was a setup. I should have understood that. Nobody just waltzes into fucking London with 20 handguns. But here I am, and now I'm just here with a bunch of other lunatics on some racked up racketeering charges. So I'm a little irritated, as you can imagine.
I suspect that sounds awfully unfair.
Really? Like, first, yeah, get me on smuggling charges, whatever. I can pay the 6 months, but a year and what's probably going to be a blown-up media trial, whatever.
And we'll tell. And what about commute?
Every moment I've spent in here is a moment taken away from my judgment out there. Okay, I got caught. I perhaps got cocky. But that is no reason to rot in here. I want to get out again. But well, I will not plead innocent if I am not, right?
Interesting mindset. So that's saying that if you were given the chance, you would do it all again.
I will do it all again. In time.
Time may or may not be at your advantage, but we'll see. And Amber.
I just want to know where Emily is. If she's okay. If she's coping with all this. I mean... Yeah, sure. I'm in here because of her, but I just want to make sure she's okay. And hopefully we can go back out. Not be separated. Make sure she's not causing problems.
Quite sad, really. How does Emily feel about all of this?
Mixed emotions. Leave it to the pigs to make sure that Amber and I aren't in the same cell because, God forbid, the lesbians are together. The hostage situation is probably all bullshit. I think that the guards just don't want to, have us ruin the holiday because, God forbid. So I'm mad, and I miss Amber.
Yeah, it would be truly the stereotypical police thing to do to ruin the fun for everybody. It's all about them, isn't it? Now, you'd be expecting this to be done within an hour or two. When it started, it was about midday, maybe half 12, not really too sure. It's now 6 o'clock. It's been going on for 6 hours. And whereas everybody was all excited and bantery as they were egging all of this on, winding up the cop through their prison cells, whatnot. Frustrated. It's probably not quite. Some are going to be confused, but for the most part, you don't really know still what's going on. You just know that something is happening. Now, at some point, in the hour of 6 o'clock, we return back to you, Bethany, and you hear a loud knocking at the door. Stand up, back against the wall.
Okay. I, do it without answer. I'm not any of these fucking crazy lunatics or whatever. I'm just... Violence isn't gonna get me anywhere. I'm up against the wall. I'm ready.
The door swings open and you immediately see 3 individuals in this doorway, and they're dressed in riot gear. The one at the front has a riot shield on, like facing towards you. You can't see their faces at all, just the lights through the balaclava helmet things. And they slowly rush forward, and very roughly and aggressively they begin to handle you and put you in cuffs. Do you resist?
No, I can't. I mean, I'm 3-1 and I don't have anything on me. I'm gonna have to take it for now.
Oh. It hurts. Not something that would cost you any moving points from your character sheet, but it's uncomfortable. They're not trying to be nice.
Typical holiday workers.
Typical holiday workers. Not very Christmassy at all. You have similar commands, Camille, and knocking on the door. An officer shouting through telling you to stand up and to face the wall.
Not again to put some hurt or not. Fine.
So you cut out a...
I just
You
said,
stand up.
go on.
Sorry. No, go on, say it again.
I just said, are you here to give some hurt again?
You give the remark and you stand, and I'm presuming you comply, that you stand facing the wall.
I stand facing the wall.
You comply, there's no response, and these officers rush in and they charge, and they begin to cuff you. You know, moving your arms in ways that you never thought they could bend before. They weren't this aggressive when you were first arrested. But as they're doing this, you hear whispers in your head. They are stopping you, moving you from your work.
Officers, this is not very Christmassy, no?
The officer that's closest to you hits your head against the wall. Shut up, you French fuck! And they begin to take you out the room with the cuffs on around your wrists. Amber, you two, with your cell, aggressive knocking, and you hear somebody shouting at you, telling you to stand up and to get against the wall.
Yeah, I'll stand up, get against the wall.
Again, these officers storm in and they charge and manipulate you in ways that you probably didn't want to be manipulated, moving your arms around and cuffing you. And assuming you don't show any resistance, they take you out.
Absolutely not.
And finally, Emily, you're probably going to guess what's going to happen now. Gira is knocking at the door, commands to get against the wall.
I get against the wall. But that's as far as we're getting. I am not being handcuffed.
This is going to be an interesting... So what is it that you do? They come in and they storm in and they begin to try and handle you, put cuffs around you.
Now, I'm not much of a fighter, but I am going to be squirmy as hell and say, what the fuck? I haven't done anything.
They don't answer. They're just wrestling with you more and they're just trying to get them cuffs on you. And I'm assuming, given what you just said, that you will reluctantly let them.
Eventually, yes. I'm not much of a fighter. There's more of them. They're all in gear. But I'm kicking. I'm at least kicking. Especially if they get real handsy.
You wanting to cause any serious damage, or you just doing it to wind them up, I guess?
Oh, hell, absolutely winding them up.
I'm going to ask for a very interesting role now. Could you give me strength and performance?
All right, let's see. This is a very simple role, honestly. Again, strength is not my strong suit. So it's one die, one success. I put it in. So at least, one die, I got one success out of it. So could be worse.
It could be worse, and it'd be very, very interesting what would happen if you had failed that challenging role, it's very clear to them that you are trying to wind them up, that you're not wanting to go without some degree of fight, be it somewhat of a showboat. But it doesn't take long for them to restrain you. They push you against the wall. Somebody is like holding you by the ankles, and when you finally do give in, they put them cuffs around you. And eventually, you are escorted out the cell. The four of you, as you leave your respective cells, leaving your fellow inmates behind, maybe some of you don't have them, depending on your crimes, you walk past those dirty, grimy halls, you hear other people shouting. It's not really too sure whether it was better off before the officers came in, or before they were taking you out. But eventually, the four of you are led to a room, a section of the prison that you haven't seen before. And this would be the moment where, with the exception of two, that you have all met each other. So you're all standing outside of this room with a single wooden door. And one of the officers steps forward and said, "Don't move." And he storms in and slams the door behind you. Which is a bit of a nonsensical thing to say, given the fact that you're all cuffed. But there are officers around you, quite a lot. That if you tried to do anything, you would be heavily outnumbered.
I mean, I'll listen. Not looking to cause trouble, Commander. Or whatever you are. But I'll take a look at the company around me. I recognize the Prophet. From what I heard, it's a pretty nasty business she got herself involved in.
I don't care about anybody else. I have not seen Amber in a good minute. I am defying orders in the fact that I am going to go move to stand by her.
I'm assuming that Amber would allow this?
Oh, yeah.
The officers watch you move towards her, and they're sort of eyeing you two up to make sure you don't do anything shifty. But they won't stop you.
Alright, that's all I wanted to do. I'm not going to try and act or anything. I just wanted to be by her.
And if I see that she is moving without a consequence, I will just take a few steps to the right and to the left and eye up one of the officers, see what they are carrying. Is it the usual, or is it something else?
It's usual in the sense that you've seen them wear this uniform before. They're in riot gear, so big puffy outfits. They have like the clear riot shield and the helmet, but it seems a bit overkill to be them wearing that just to escort 4 prisoners out, especially those that, for the most part, didn't show resistance.
Alright, I will not say anything, but I will eye up the officers and then eye up the other ladies in this room.
What does Beth do during all of this?
Well, I don't know the other two. I mean, I've heard of what they've done at least. But myself didn't say anything about not making nice chit-chat, right? Sort of with a sarcastic smile, I'll turn to whoever's nearest to me, presuming that it's probably Camille, and say, "So what are you in for?"
You're coming to me, right?
Yes.
I am in for murder. Simple. Several counts. How about you?
Okay, I nothing wrong with that, just, coughed. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm just very out of reason.
You seem flustered.
A bit, admittedly. Look, I'm here for non-violent offenses. Just, smuggling, racketeering. You might have heard my name in the news, whatever. Whole gang recruitment ideal, but I guess I can say I've been a murderer before.
So just pitiful crimes.
I mean, I wouldn't say pitiful, but I mean, like I said, like some of us have our
What is the point
reasons.
of it? If you do it, what is the point of it? What do you get out of it?
Money? I don't know, a house? I was gonna get deported otherwise, so it's just a matter of what money can I get my hands on. Quite frankly, a lot of people around here have a hankering for handguns.
What do money and the house mean in the greater good of it all?
I love your sister. I don't have a ministry to go back to, or a nunnery, or wherever the hell you guys go to. I just look, nothing wrong with me. Don't like stab me in the throat or anything. Just
I
Yep,
do not
some
have a knife. I could not stab you in the throat, even if I wanted to.
I don't know. Nuns are creative, from what I've seen in documentaries.
Right.
Bethany makes an interesting attempt of making friends. What is it that Emily and Amber are doing whilst this is going on?
So, I assume we're standing close to each other now that Emily has moved over. Amber will just kind of look over at Emily. Please say you're staying out of trouble.
Do you want the honest answer?
Always.
Fuck these pigs. That's all I have to say.
Play nice until we can get out. That's... You need to play nice until we can get out. I can't always be there. So...
I know. We're in here because of these cocksuckers and their authority trip. So...
Yeah, I know. Look, just breathe. Are you doing okay? Or is anybody being an asshole?
We're surrounded by assholes, honey. I don't...
Look,
We're going to play a little game because these cops are around you, and you've already wound some of them up.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to play a game of odds and evens. In my hand is an ordinary D10. You're going to say odds or evens. If the dice lands on a corresponding number, fate will be in your favour. If not, we'll see what happens. So, odds or evens?
Evens. Let's go.
As you're saying all these things, presumably loud enough for these pigs to hear you, you every so often catch from your peripheral. You can't see their faces because they're covered up, but you can see their eyes at least, and you can see that some are twitching. And, you could tell by their eye movements that they're making some sort of restraint faces, but they're not going to retaliate. Yet. But before they are given the chance to, the door opens and you hear a voice that shouts, "Come in!"
Well, gentlemen, I think that's our cue. If you'll so kindly escort us in.
Sorry, do you want us to hold your hand for you, love? Get in.
Right, geez, just trying to be polite, but English? Guess those English manners don't matter much, huh? But I'll walk
I'm assuming you...
Never walk in, yes.
make sure Emily's not too far, but I'll walk in.
I'll walk in, but, not before, making some sort of face at the guards out there. Fuck them.
Of course. Again, they don't do anything. They're probably used to this from you, and God knows who else is here. Now, the four of you enter this dirty, rectangular beige room. You've never seen it before. You've never been in this room before. And it's very cold. There's no sort of natural heating. There isn't like a radiator or anything. There's a blue painted strip at the base of the wall, and they're tiny murky windows at the top. Like, it's too high to really see what's outside. Even if you stood on your tiptoes, you wouldn't be able to see what was going on. In the centre of this room, there's a wooden table, and there are 4 pieces of paper and pens. And you can hear the soft pitter-patter of the rain outside. Behind the table is a man who's roughly in his mid-30s. He's white with short brown hair. He's clean-shaven, and he's in a white shirt and tie combo. On either side of him are 2 officers in uniform, and the man in the suit is just sort of adjusting his suit jacket. As you're all coming in, said, "Shut the door, Peter," and the door slams shut. I said, "Thank you. Merry Christmas, ladies. How are we?" He smiles.
Do not tell me you even celebrate Christmas.
Well, I'd like to be, but here I am dealing with you 4.
And here
Look,
we
this is
are,
about-
not asking for it.
Yeah, we didn't do jack shit, so...
Look, if this is about my lawyer, we can talk through my attorney. Whatever. Just, like... I mean, happy holidays, I guess.
Yes, happy holidays indeed. But don't worry, this won't involve your lawyers, and he looks at you, Emily, and said, "I know exactly what you've done. I know what all of you do. It's fine. I'm not here to judge. I'm actually here to help you."
This a plea bargain or something?
No, my sweet. An opportunity to earn back your freedom.
I'm sorry, if our freedom is in, like, all
Yeah.
sentences cut.
He's talking about sex for whatever. It's common here because, rat bastards taking advantage. Prisoners can't even consent.
Are you talking about sex?
He rolls his eyes and he smirks and said, "Look, I hate to break it to you, I don't swing that way, but no, this has nothing to do with that. Unfortunately, there are some here that probably do stuff like that, but I'm not one of them. I like to think myself as an honest member of our society."
Okay, so what are you suggesting? What are you offering?
What I'm offering you is a chance for the 4 of you to put your skills to the test. Devotion, destruction, damage, and whatever D word I can assign to you. To put your skills to the test, to prove yourselves, to eliminate a certain threat.
So the government's having us kill people for sentences being exchanged for freedom. Is that what we're being brought in here for?
Very close. I do not represent the government. I represent an organization of a much higher order.
I'm just gonna look, like, just side-eye Camille, like, is this a church thing?
Do you say that aloud?
I don't, but I'm just giving her a look, like, you're the one who deals with higher powers around here, not me. You explain it. Because the other 2, they don't look too holy to me, if you catch my drift.
And why should we punish someone just because you say so?
Oh, yeah, what she said.
I mean, the choice is down to you. Given your asset, I thought you would be the first one to jump in this sort of work. And I think you'll find, once we start talking, that this will very much be up your alley, as the kids might say.
Then start talking.
He smirks wickedly, perhaps too wickedly. Now, I am legally bound not to talk any further until you sign these. And he gestures at the pens and papers in front of you. If you wish to have your freedom cut, well, let me rephrase that. If you wish to have your sentences cut, out and gain back your freedom. Sign here.
I'm just gonna hold up my handcuffed hands, presuming that we're still handcuffed. Be like, can't really sign anything like this, sir.
In a split second, Camille will go with the handcuffs and just go and sign it like that.
Oh my god. Showing me off being such a pillow princess, jeez.
So you are going to attempt to go over there and sign with the cuffs on, just to prove them wrong? If I got that right?
I mean, you can still sign, right? Like...
And whilst the complaining is happening, Camille goes there, and perhaps a little wonky because the lack of dexterity, but you do manage to sign your name, and the guy in the suit just sort of crosses his arm and he looks and he smirks, and he looks at you, Bethany. Sorry, I didn't quite catch what you were saying.
Oh gosh, Bethany's... Well, I'm like definitely a little embarrassed. I was poking fun at this nun serial killer, from what I've heard. Now she just showed me up, so... I mean, what can I do other than sign with my hand still cuffed?
Again, you can go over there. Handwriting's a bit wonky, but there is some signature in place. And that leaves our glorious couple.
So I want to see what's on the paper.
Same.
Okay, it's kind of lengthy. So, to make sure that you're picking up all the details, could you roll for me your wits and academics?
And do you want me to roll the same thing then, since I
Yes.
also want to look at
Yes,
it? All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that is 3 successes for me.
Mm-hmm.
1 for me.
1 for thee and 3 for thee. Okay. So we'll start with you, Amber. You kind of get the general gist of what it is, if only barely. You understand bits and pieces of it, that you are being asked to work with some organization known as HMA, and that you do what they ask, that you will gain back your freedom. And there's some stuff mentioned to do with the royal family, the Queen, standard stuff. And you get that general gist, but it's trying to get through legal speak. It sounds like that, whereas he implied you would only have to do this the once, this might be an ongoing event. Like a series of eliminating threats, so to speak.
So Amber would look down at the paper, then look over at Emily. What do you think?
I think I need to know who we're supposed to be eliminating first, because... And I'm gonna look at the gent on the other side of the table. Listen, Tori, I'm not out here going to eliminate minorities. So...
You think I'm on the side of the government? I told you I'm of a much higher power than whatever pigs are running Downing Street.
I just don't understand what, I guess, you want us to eliminate. I'm not out here wanting to harm innocents.
The individuals that I'd be asking you to remove. One of them is responsible for getting you in here. All of you, in some capacity, but especially you. And he sort of wags a finger at you, Emily. You have a chance of revenge. It will all make sense.
I'm gonna look at Amber, and then I'm going to reluctantly sign.
As soon as I see Emily sign, I'm gonna sign after.
Wonderful work. Welcome aboard HMA. And he clicks his fingers, and the two officers sort of walk round him, round the table, and moving from outwards in, they unlock your cuffs. And they take them from you. Your first whiff of freedom, the lack of restrictions of metal cuffs. And they go back to where they were behind him. As they're moving back, the gentleman will start speaking. Now that you are officially of our order, I shall introduce myself. I am George Faraday of Her Majesty's Agents. And the threats that I wish to have you remove, which I understand will seem a bit gaucher at first, a bit out there, is a threat that has been in the shadows, puppeting governments, organisations, and even the church, and he looks at you, Camille, for hundreds and hundreds of years. And it's down to individuals like us that should put order, once again, in things.
I'll nod along, but I'm seeing blackmail material. I don't care what I signed. I'll have a 60-minute tell-all after this, but what I'll say is, sounds honorable.
Do you believe that? This is a storyteller question.
I don't. It doesn't sound honorable. Anything that the old Queenie up there believes is probably... She probably just wants someone killed like they did with Princess Diana. We all know that's what happened.
Unless you're trying to make it sound sarcastic, I'm going to require you to roll charisma and subterfuge.
Oh boy, I am trying to make it sound genuine, because I want to get out of here, so I will do so. Uh-oh, this is gonna be a nice dice pool. 1 success.
You made a valiant effort, but it does not sound at all genuine. He just doesn't see right. He doesn't see through it at all. And he doesn't react negatively. He said, I understand. Somebody here in a fancy suit tells you that in order to put things right, you must do wrong. But when I start telling you about what lurks in the night, that's dictated your lives, your careers, and indeed your very prison sentences in some cases, you'll see things our way.
You are probably just as corrupt as they are. But keep talking. You are taking a lot of time.
He looks at his watch. It's this big old expensive looking watch, might be a Rolex. I'm sorry, do you have somewhere more important to be? Oh wait, you don't. But you're right, I should probably cut to the chase. And as I said, it'll sound a bit out there, but our organisation is... you could say it is part of many organisations. Our branch, HMA, Her Majesty's Agents. Our duty, our life goal for the last 150 years has been protecting the royal family from primarily vampires.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah. All right.
I'm sorry, you have to... I mean, I'm with her. This sounds ridiculous. Vampires. Like, this isn't just some fancy government code word for, like, the Arab states.
Oh, probably knowing them.
I said it did sound a bit unusual, but trust me, I will show you everything in good time. Now, I just have to wait a little... Ah, it's just about to start. And he holds his watch against his ear, and with his fingers he counts 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And as he gets to 0, a loud klaxon alarm sounds, and like the light in this room, which was a pleasant sort of amberish colour, flashes red, and it's unbearably loud. And he's sort of shouting, fantastic, the riot's begun. Andrew, get the door, and Andrew, this officer to his right, sort of walks towards the side of the room and knocks it 3 times, and the wall, or part of the wall, slides upwards. Follow me, ladies, we have much to discuss. And he sort of walks on through.
I am planning to follow immediately, but last question, are the pens still on the table?
Yes.
I'll try to sneak one with me. Or 2.
Well, both he and the officers have gone in, so they're not watching you.
I'll just sneak in all 4 of the pens. Put them away.
Amber would immediately grab Emily's hand
Yep.
and start leading the way in front of her.
No resistance there. I'm pretty much like as on top of her as I can be as we're walking because it's been so long.
I'll follow behind the lovely couple.
Did we lose Lore? Yep. Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
he's back.
maybe. The joys of doing it live, guys. Bear with us here. Lore, you said.
Camille is the storyteller now.
Lore, you said.
You were attempting, Camille, to pocket 2 pens.
Yes.
Well, find some fancy place to put them, because you now have 2 pens in your possession.
And I shall take a note.
Is anybody else going to take the remaining 2 pens, or are you just going to go in penless?
I'll be honest, stabbing's not my thing. I prefer range. Can't look him in the eyes that way. But I'll stick behind the nun. After all, if things get shoddy, she's already got blood on her hands. Probably wouldn't mind getting them wetter.
I'm taking a pen only because I saw the nun take pens, and listen, we're lesbians. I don't know if I'm on that hit list or not, so just saying.
And Amber?
Yeah, no, my focus is grabbing hold of Emily and going.
You don't take the last pen.
No. We can sit there.
Okay. Okay. So the 4 of you head on through, some with pens, some without, and you enter this lit, sort of very narrow corridor. And as you're walking away, this loud siren alarm thing that you haven't heard before is going on. It's getting fainter and fainter. And George at the front, you can hear him shouting back at you. Well, speaking loudly, rather. What we have just started, ladies, is a riot. A riot that people of my institute have just instigated. Because, I don't know how thorough you read your contracts, but the 4 of you are now legally dead. Individuals will die in this riot tonight, and, well, the public will know that 4 individuals will die, and they will just so happen to have your names on it. We take our line of work very, very seriously, especially when it comes to the removal of vampires and protecting the Queen, the royal family, and the good people of Britain, in that order.
So, to clarify, you've said that our sentences would be reduced. What does that mean if we're legally dead?
You will have your freedom to live as you please. Just using completely different aliases set up by us. But we'll get onto that another time. And he walks through and he opens a door, just suddenly outward to the left, and it swings open, and he turns left. And as there's nowhere else to go, you all follow him, and you enter quite a larger room. It almost looks something from a sci-fi film. There are massive computer screens and displays, big old buttons and flashing lights, and men, women of all sizes, shapes, and cultures just tapping away, writing things down. And you have George just walking to the end, up a little flight of stairs, to another much larger door. And he stands there with his hands in his pockets. For the last 150 years, we have sworn to protect the good people of Britain, the Queen and the royal family, in reverse order, from the vampire menace. It is not just vampires. Werewolves, ghosts, even fairies go out every night and every day to harass them for their own games and wars, but it is the vampires that are our particular focus.
I can feel the start of a headache coming on. Like, vampires, I can get that. Maybe it's just... I mean, I've seen those plasma donation ads. It was fairies, ghosts. It's like... This sounds like a Scooby-Doo episode the further we get into it, but this man just declared me legally dead, so I might as well go along.
I'm assuming the rest of you just follow.
Yes, but I will look up for a second and... Dear, is this all real?
Is that externally, or is that something that you're thinking and processing?
And that is something I say out loud, and if an answer comes...
Oh, I assure you, this is all very real. As I said, I do admit, it's very out there. I was in your shoes once. Well, not quite in your shoes. I'm not a criminal. But trust me, what's through those doors change your life. Not sure whether it be for the better, but you'll begin to understand the menace. Or at least an aspect of this menace. And just as he says that, these doors, mechanical doors, slide open, almost soundlessly. And he steps through.
So as I say, follow the white rabbit. Let's see what Wonderland he takes us to.
That is such bullshit. But I will walk in.
Amber's gonna just kind of squeeze Emily's hand. Come on. See if we can get out.
Following suit.
You lead up to a very similar sort of room. There are modules and computers and things, but it's not what it. You stand up in this grated window, and looking down, there is a very large white, kind of like a sports hall sort of size, but it's just plain white, very clean and very pristine. But right in the centre, there is a pole. Attached to that pole is a chain, and attached to that chain, there's something human there, but the way that it's behaving is anything but. It's leaping and jumping about, and every so often, because of the height difference, you can see that it's growling, and you can just about hear that it's snarling. And as you approach this window and you have a look at it, it said, "This is a vampire, something that we had prepared earlier for you to witness." Vampires like to pretend that they're human, to blend in, as it were. But you don't give them what they want, what they need. Their true nature shows itself.
Looking at this thing, does it even look human anymore, or is it like a beast wearing a human skin? Because, like, vampires is one thing, but seeing it, not as just a metaphor or some conspiracy theory. It's gotta be something.
It's shocking, I know. It's okay. But unfortunately, what you're seeing is a genuine vampire whose inner monster has stepped forward. But I can understand if you still doubt me. There's something I can show you that will prove my point a bit more. And he sort of not pushes past you, but he sort of squeezes past you and approaches the module, and he presses a button. Terry?
This is Terry speaking. How can I help you today, sir?
Yes, release Mrs. Hernandez.
Right away, sir.
And there's a beep, and you look up, and part of the ceiling just drops, and a body just plummets towards the ground, and with an ugly splat, it hits the ground nearest where this pole in the room is. And this individual, who is meant to be a vampire, who's leaping about and growling and snarling, stops, head clocks towards this bloody individual, and launches itself at it, and begins tearing and grappling and biting and tearing this individual part with fingers and teeth.
Did you guys kill Delilah just to feed this thing?
Delilah was an interesting individual. In layman's terms, she had it coming.
So what makes this any better then?
Yeah, why are we not
Isn't-
on that thing's plate?
It's an ugly world, I'm afraid, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. And my father used to say that it was more like a gluten-free cookie because it crumbles particularly quickly. That may mean nothing to you because you don't have allergies like I do. Anyway, it's an unpleasant truth of our world. An unpleasant truth about the true nature of this facility. I mean, prison.
In my head, I am just envisioning this disgusting rat in the place of that body. This disgusting rat who thinks he can just decide who is fed to who. I'm not saying any of this out loud, but I am merely envisioning.
And as you envision that, you just hear those familiar whispers of yours, just even.
My hand will clench, but that is all.
Gonna move closer to Emily. Gonna try to keep my voice low. So we've got to do whatever we can not to end up like that. Okay?
Who says we're not already?
I'm gonna make sure we get through this. I need you to follow my lead. Okay?
Amber, this is fucked up.
All of this is fucked, but I gotta make sure that we make it through this, okay? Look at me. Are you okay?
I don't care, I just think it's bullshit. This is fucked.
So do I. But I'ma definitely need you to watch your mouth going forward. Because I don't want you on that side.
I'm going to do what is right, and I always have.
Yeah, what was right got us in here. Look, come on, well, breathe.
When this conversation of yours breaks, you notice that George has been watching, and he has a smile on his face, and he's sort of nodding, wishing to do the right thing. He pokes a few buttons at this console, and there's a large red button that's had a case over it, and it flips up. You wish to do the right thing? It's all yours.
What does it do?
It makes things right. It removes a petulant evil from this world.
And yet, you got rid of Delilah just to feed it to what, prove a point?
This was going to happen regardless to whether you agreed to this or not. She's a particularly dangerous individual in our world. She was never leaving here. Now, of course, a life sentence in the UK is 25 years. So when I say that she was never going to leave here, she was never going to leave here. And besides, even if she did, she wouldn't be missed. Some would say that we're doing the world a favour.
I mean, he has a point. I'm gonna say that out loud. It could be any of us in there, and we've been cut a pretty good deal, gals. I don't know about the rest of you, but for a few of those things for my freedom, I'd take it.
Supposedly. There's no saying that we won't be the next Delilah. Maybe she was in our exact situation right now.
Well, we are right now, and the way I see it, we've been cut out a deal, signed papers and everything. Sure, whatever you think about that, or whatever you royal family protectors are, I think you can hold up a deal. You could have just released that thing on us, and we could be, well, I just gestured to the splatter that is Delilah. Just saying, if they wanted to kill us now, we'd be dead.
I have so much I want to say, but for Amber's sake, I'm just going to squeeze her hand and shut up.
So, you're not going to do it then? And he gestures towards the button. The big red button.
Sure, do I get a cash prize if I press it? And I'll just sort of hover my fingers over it.
No, he says, eventually trying to work out what exactly it is that you're getting at.
Why do you not yourself not press the button if you want to do what is so right in your eyes?
Why do I not want to press it? I've done it lots of times before. I wanted to see if somebody else wanted to see the joy and the satisfaction of what happens when you press that button. I'm a gentleman at heart, really.
Gentlemen. Yeah, we'll use that word, and without further ado, I'll just push my whole arm down on it.
And the button goes down with a very heavy thunk. And as it clicked and twists, and from this pen, fire shoots up from the ground, and you just hear this manic scream. And this creature, leaping and jumping about like popcorn being cooked but on flame, eventually stops screaming. And the fire eventually dissipates. And you just see two barbecued individuals in this pen.
Holy shit, I'm sorry, did you just burn that thing alive? I thought you were just gonna...
No. I didn't burn them. You did. And with a smile, he walks to the other end of the room. To another door. This way.
I'm still in a bit of a haze. I just burned someone alive. I wasn't expecting this kind of brutality, but might as well follow the white rabbit.
Camille will pass by Bethany and say very quietly, "Do not worry, he will also burn like that one day."
I'm just gonna give Camille a look and just nod, my lips narrow. At this point, I'm not even sure what we're being asked, but this man is no good.
And the other two?
Amber,
Yeah,
this is fucked up.
I know. Do you have any other better suggestions?
I'm starting to feel like I would rather live out my sentence. It feels like we traded 5 years for a death sentence.
I would be lying if I said that wasn't going through my head, but I don't think there's any turning back now. I think we pretty much just gotta see this through.
Promise me we're gonna be okay.
Yeah, no, we're I promise you.
Amber, we will do whatever it takes to be okay.
Yes. Yeah, we will. And if, you're gonna make it out of this, regardless.
We, Amber.
Okay. Just, we gotta see it through at this point. We don't... Yeah.
And if Amber would allow, I would kiss her and take her hand and move forward.
Absolutely.
The four of you are led outside, like outside of the prison facility. It's probably been the first time, well, in a year, that you have seen forest. So that's what surrounds the outside of the prison block. But outside, on the other side of this wall and some grass, there's some trodden in mud where people would walk, because people would walk their dogs there. Fun factoid. There is a minibus, which in the UK are just large white vehicles. Unusually, the windows are tinted and blackened out, with the little visibility of the light that's available in where you are. There is a bus with blacked out windows, and George goes to the back of it, opens the back doors, and he nods to the side of it and, "Come on, we've got a bus to catch." Haha.
Strange humor this lot has. Maybe it's just the English, I don't know. But if there's more fire and more burning, whatever those things are, and it means the end of all of this, I'll get on.
The rest join suite.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna pull Emily with me, but yeah.
If I pass by him on my way to the bus, I will very quietly say, "You are disgusting."
Doesn't respond.
And I will
He just
enter.
smiles. And he's the last one to enter the bus. Now, you're not the only individuals on this bus. There are officers, again, in this very similar riot gear. But they do not have the shield present. They have machine guns. And on some of the seats on this bus, there are big old briefcases. And George makes himself comfortable at the back. And you can sit wherever you want. And that, I think, is a marvellous place to have a short break. And welcome back to our World of Darkness 5th edition one-shot, Silent Night, where 4 mortal female prisoners are fighting for their freedom, but with a cost. When we left off, they headed in a minibus, an ordinary British white school minibus, and they're all driving somewhere. So let's just catch things up to where we are currently. They are heading to the town/village of Frensham, which from where they are is about an hour and a half's drive. On the bus are Her Majesty's Agent George Faraday is explaining the very basics of vampire politics, how these vampires have got different governments, but they're like factions, and he's not entirely too sure himself, but he knows the very bare basics. I can English. How he explains that they're different breeds of vampires, but they call themselves clans, and he goes on this little tangent saying that they make them sound more fancy than what they just saw in the prison. And the individual that they are looking for is an Oliver Seward, who calls himself a Ventru vampire. Not quite too sure why, but that's the general vibe. You're given a description and photographs. He's a lanky, skinny, Caucasian ginger, sort of wearing like prep school, poncy sort of middle class air. Where you're heading is a mansion in this town of Frensham, in the woodlands. Now, Oliver thinks that he has lost Her Majesty's agents, and the prisoners are to deal with them. You're given one instruction: kill on sight, avoid eye contact, keep discussions at a bare minimal, and kill on sight. When you arrive at the destination, you have to drive up through very narrow roads, up bumpy hills. You actually get stuck once for a couple of minutes, but once you get going, you're off again, and you turn and twist into really dark woodlands. And you know that you're there because there are other cars around, some of them with headlights on. And George instructs you all to get out, and he pushes open the back doors.
So we get nothing with us.
Yeah, right, you're gonna give us something? I mean, we can't just wait for the sun to rise or a garlic patch to come up.
Remember, garlic doesn't work on vampires. Well, not all of them anyway. Besides, we can deal with that element, what you'll be taking with you, once we get outside. We've got a bit more manoeuvring room out there. Come on. And he sort of climbs out of the bus.
Not enjoying being pulled around by a pyromaniac, but sure, let's follow. My life is in his hands, so to speak.
Fine.
Make sure I have Emily right next to me. Go ahead and head out.
Just get her on those leashes.
I'm assuming Emily is joining Amber.
Yes. Yeah. The hand will have to do.
Cool.
Unfortunately, we don't have a leash.
Okay. So you'll get out, and along with George, the other armoured officers get out with you, and they're carrying these cases. They put them on the ground. One of them's on like a tree stump, and with these lights from these cars and whatnot around you, they flick them open. And inside these cases are guns. Pistols, shotguns, machine guns, you name it, it's in there, with the exception of a rocket launcher. And George makes a point of saying that bringing a rocket launcher here would be overkill.
Well, Bethany, my eyes just light up when I see firearms. Like, now we're talking! I mean, none of this, like, no offense, I'm sure the fireworks great, but like, if it's flesh and blood, we can take it down real quick. I just start going over the inventory, like, okay, what am I bringing in? What kind of ammo are we working with? What exactly range are we talking? Just taking note of everything.
Now, if you want me to answer that as the storyteller, I can't. So I'll let you decide what, as much as Bethany can carry, she can take with her.
All right. Oh gosh. Is there a storyteller roll to determine this? Because the answer is to that. Bethany is going to take as much as she can carry with her.
Well, sure. Let's just see how fun this could be. I'm gonna hazard a guess that this would just be stamina. If you were just to roll straight stamina.
Gotcha. 2 successes.
2 successes. If you'd want to, you could probably take... Okay, I'm just going to make something up because I am not a gun expert.
Oh god, same here.
This is hilarious. Large machine gun, maybe you could have like a shotgun at the back and some pistols and some holsters. I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I know how to use them, but it's not like I can hold 3 at once. Always good to have a backup, though.
Absolutely. And everyone else.
Is there anything melee? Because Emily does not know how to use a gun. She ain't got nothing. Okay.
There, as weird as it is, there are swords here and stakes, wooden, pointy things.
Well, I'm gonna grab a stake and then I'm gonna show it off to Amber and be like, "Look, I'm Buffy," and then I'll grab a sword too, just since that's got a little bit more range to it than a stake does. And Buffy has used those before too, so still Buffy.
Honey, Buffy wishes she was you. Pistol, shotgun?
Mm-hmm.
Are there, are there like holsters and stuff like that to put it on?
Yes, there would be holsters and things to put weapons in
Also
place.
for the swords?
Yeah, you would have a sheath to put it in.
One that could go on
The
the
whole
back?
Yes, but scientifically, it's actually very difficult to do that action. But as I don't care for that, fuck it, why not?
It looks cool, man. Ideally, a pistol. 2 swords and a stake.
Right. Just making a note of exactly what you're all taking with you. Now, in addition to your weapons, and if you were paying attention, you might be able to see George just enjoying choosing your weapons. And after you have made your selections, the cases are taken away from you and put back in the bus. But also, you're given these weird little black things, and he then begins to describe their earpieces so he can keep in touch with you.
Oh man,
And
we're
each
real
other.
secret agents now.
I will take one and put it in.
Yeah, Bethany will
Follow
take
suit.
one.
Yeah.
She'll make a big deal out of it, like, man, I guess I really am Her Majesty's guard now, huh?
Of course, gonna take one as well.
And it's strange because they all seem to fit in your ears perfectly. Like they were molded to fit your ear and your ears alone. Now, finally, George begins to explain that you're going to have to do the rest of the journey on foot and walk to there. Fortunately, your location is about a 10-minute walk through some woodlands, and he gets out a map and he just shows you it's in a straight line. Keep noise at a minimum, because some of them have really good hearing. And once he does that, he offers one of you a torch.
I'll take the flashlight and I'll hand it to Amber.
I'll take it.
You have the torch. Right. As you all seem fairly equipped and enthusiastic to serve Her Majesty. Unless there's any questions, you best be on your way.
Actually, one question before we go here, 007. I was wondering, so after we, kill whatever's out there, this Ventrube guy, whatever. We meet up back here?
Yes. We'll return here, and then we'll discuss future plans for you four.
Alright, sounds fair to me.
I have a question. Seems like your boys are all decked out and you know what you're doing. Why us? Because we're expendable?
Honestly, yes.
Mm.
We're just here to make sure that, should something go terribly wrong, we'll be able to get him. Then, Mr. Seward knows that we are after him. Doesn't know you four. It's a win-win. You help us, vampire disappears. Pardon?
Sorry to interrupt you there, sir, but he isn't expecting us four lovely ladies armed to teeth.
Precisely. Exactly what I was saying. Thank you ever so much for finishing my sentence for me. It's all pats you on the shoulder.
I will take a step closer to him and kind of eye around. What would stop us from trying to kill you right now? We might die, but what is to lose? You are just as guilty as what is out there.
Yes, we are absolutely the worst. I know. Terrible individuals,
I do not
but
talk about we. I am talking about you.
well, okay. So this is the scenario that would play out. You kill me, they take you out. But the punishment doesn't stop there. You see, karma is kind of like a chain reaction of events, and it would be such an awful shame if something was to happen to Lawrence now, wouldn't it? Or Ivan.
I will take a step closer to him, right in his face. You will kill Lawrence.
Oh, I said
will
nothing
take a
about
step
killing.
closer and put one shoe on his shoe. You are playing with fire, not one that is behind glass. And I will take a step back.
The whole time you do that, he is smirking, and he sort of looks around. All right, boys, lower your weapons. I think she's calmed down a little bit now. So, if you were just to direct that little tantrum of yours to something that's actually worth your time, and he gestures off towards the path that would lead to where this vampire is hiding.
I'll just shrug and say, "Come on, sister. I don't think all of us want to be martyrs here. I just want to get home, eat some real food again."
I take out one of the pens, and I get in his face, and I lift the pen, point up into his throat, and I said, "You do not decide what is worth my time. Stop that smirk. If you want to get things done,
Smoke
God is on my
vanishes.
side here, not yours."
And look where God led you.
Right where I need to be.
Mm-hmm. Sure. You finished.
I will drop the pen in front of him. You will burn. Perhaps not tonight. And you can smirk in hell.
He turns round to one of the officers. We need to get her involved with the society. I think they'll fucking love her.
I'm like right now I'm a bit like that meme of the monkey puppet that's just like looking between Bethany and not Bethany, looking between Camille and Gary. I'm just like when she's finished, I just lean in and say, "What did I say about being a martyr? I don't know about the rest of you or whatever you do up in your nunneries aside from like all the hot girl shit, but like I just want to get out of here alive. You don't even have to kill this guy. We can just sneak away, get out of here."
Right to assume that this would be the point where you would all slowly walk away, or quickly?
They said be quiet, so
I'm not in a rush. And I want to wait for that prophet. I want to talk to that bitch.
So, you all trudge your way up this path, heading towards in the direction of wherever this vampire is heading. Now, for those of you that are wanting to be stealthy and quiet, we're going to have to do a dex and stealth roll, please.
Yay.
All right.
oh boy.
Question. Would there be any way for me to check if anything's been through here or anything like that while I'm trying to be stealthy? That's a lot.
Alright, let's do that first and then we can do this stealth bit for you. If you want to do wits and survival.
Perfect. Good roll for me. Not sarcasm at all. That is 3.
3. Now, as you're walking along here, all of you begin to notice that it's starting to snow. Almost feels a little like Christmas now. It's really thick, heavy snow. But before the snow begins to settle, Amber, you don't really see anything too out of the ordinary. It does look like that you can see the occasional footprint, but nothing that suggests that there's more than one person that's been through here recently. And with the dex and stealth, what did everybody get for that?
7.
6.
3 again.
I got 1.
It's a very interesting series of events. Now, I'm assuming that Amber's at the front because she's the one with the torch. Where's everybody else going to stand? Just so we can have a proper idea of what's happening here.
Bethany is holding up the back because, being the arms expert, I'm gonna want every opportunity to come after what's coming after us first.
Sure.
I want to obviously be as close to Amber as possible, but I really do want to talk to that prophet. So maybe that's why I got a 1, is my bitch ass is trying to have a conversation.
Preoccupied. Sure. Whereas the back end are very quiet, almost silent in this usually muddy, leafy environment that's been obfuscated by snow, and slightly quiet at the beginning. Now, whether it's through you talking or you just not paying that much attention, you're just stepping on twigs, you might trip up over a little bit and just knock into somebody, or because of that, you're not being as quiet as everybody else.
So, prophet. Why do you have beef with our boy George? Is it just because he's gay, or what are the rules here for murder, divine murder?
First of all, you do not speak that word. It has nothing to do with you being gay or not.
Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure that we were good.
I do not make the judgment. Only God does.
Right,
And he speaks to me.
I see. All right, great talk. Just wanted to make sure we were golden.
I will not kill you. Not yet. Not if you do not give a reason to.
All right, just wanted to make sure we're on the same side here.
We are not on the same side. But we have the same goal right now.
Right. Good talk. Good talk.
Cue Bethany
Often-
rethinking every joke she's made.
After 10 or so minutes, you figure that you reach the destination because all that you see in front of you is just a wide stretch of derelict mansion. The snow is beginning to fall and the whole place and your surroundings is just covered. It's very cold. You're not exactly wearing a great deal, so you can really feel it in your bones. And depending on how your individual characters dealt with the cold, some of you would probably be shivering. And as you reach there, and Amber, you're probably moving the torch over it. The colours are dark. They're like a sort of maroony colour. The paint is obviously faded. This place is made out of wood. It doesn't look like it's received any real attention in any amount of time. You'd be surprised if people live here. And as this is how it's going on, the four of you hear 3 beeps in the ear that your earpiece is in. And you hear George. This is George checking in on Her Majesty's agents. Do you hear me? Copy. Over.
Like, nobody wants to say, I hear you.
Excellent, that's 1 out of 3. One person has understood the very simple instructions. I'm assuming you're all there in one piece.
Merde, we hear you.
I thought we were supposed to be quiet, Georgie.
Just gonna do the exaggerated motion.
You can all whisper.
It's like, these things have super hearing, right? Can they hear you through this? Does whispering even help?
I sure hope they can't, but time will tell. Alright, George out, and you hear a click.
So, I want to, I guess, obviously we don't see any light, looks abandoned, etc., etc. But can I go to the front and see if I can see if anybody's been here, if we're on the right path?
You can certainly do that. You approach the mansion, and there's some stairs that, like 3 steps that lead up to a large wooden door and a great metal knocker. You probably assume it's brass, but it's all discoloured and pretty dank looking. So, without entering the mansion, you can't tell if anybody's been here yet.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna turn back to the rest of them. Guess we're going in?
Guess so.
Okay. I'm gonna
Can
see.
we
Go ahead.
walk around it?
You wish to walk around?
Can we?
Perimeter check? Yeah, I think we can do that.
Those that want to walk around can walk around.
I would like that.
I'm gonna stay
Cool,
right
so-
here at the door.
You're staying at the door. What are you doing, Emily?
I'm staying with Amber.
As I thought. So, to be clear, you two are not going in the mansion, you're just gonna stay put. Cool. So, Bethany and Camille, you trudge through the snow, and you can see it's too dark for you two to see. You do not have the torch with you. But you can't really. There's no real light inside. If you were to squint, you might be able to see some furniture, maybe, or curtain here and there. But eventually, you reach to the side of this large two-story mansion, and you see a cellar door, just in sort of at an angle, attached to the house and to the ground. And again, these little tiny doors look mank.
Alright. This might seem like a better way in than the front door.
I'd agree. Go for the silent approach. Want me to go get those others?
We will go back together. It's fine.
Alright. Fair enough. Safety in numbers.
Head on back, and I'm assuming in the absence of the other two, you, Emily and Amber, you're just going to... Is there anything that you do whilst they are heading off, exploring?
Passionately make out.
Yes. Hold on. You know what? Yeah. Is there a way for me to check if the door's locked? Without, like, busting in?
If you were to go... Well, try open it and see what happens.
Okay. I'll try to open it.
You gingerly reach for the handle of this big old brass doorknob, and think about that, and you push open this big door, and with a loud... It creaks open. It is unlocked.
Okay. I was not ready for it to be that loud. Alright. I'm still just gonna wait. I haven't heard back from the others. I'm not busting in yet.
Should we go after him?
We can just wait right here. Just wait right here.
And if they don't come back?
Then we go in. I am gonna scan, I guess, right inside if I can. Like, look in.
The door is currently ajar. Now, the question I have to ask you, do you do this with or without the aid of the torch?
Yeah, let's do it with the torch.
You scan in, very carefully making sure that nothing sees you, even though this big old light is poking in, and you see old wooden floorings and old carpet that would have been ornate and nice looking at one point. You think you see a doorway into another room, but you don't see anybody here. Again, the consistent theme of old, dank, and ruined is just consistent. And it's at this point, as you're scanning the room, that Beth and Camille come back. And you two can see that Amber is gingerly looking through this doorway.
With the flashlight?
Mm-hmm. You can probably see bits of the light poking up and around her. If that makes sense.
Alright, well, the silent approach is not possible anymore.
Might as well make ourselves known, right?
If it makes you feel better, it doesn't look like anybody's in here. I don't know.
There was a cellar door at the back.
Look, I'm just ready to get done with this. Sorry.
To be fair, if they can supposedly die in sunlight, I don't think they'd be hanging out in a mansion with windows. cellar might be a better choice.
I have to agree. If these things are afraid of any kind of light, a deep, dark, dank cellar sounds like the place to look to me.
The cellar does sound like a place where pitiful creatures like that would hide.
So why don't you show us where you found that?
Right then, shall we, ladies? I think we've got a few undead waiting for us now in that cellar.
So just to clarify, all four of you are heading towards this, back to the cellar.
Yeah.
So as I described before, because Amber and Emily haven't seen it, it's a doorway and arch. So bits of it's connected to the mansion, some of it's connected to the ground. It's like at a general angle, and these wooden makeshift doors, again, old, nasty looking, and it's still snowing and it's getting even colder. These doors look weak. I can't remember if I said.
Alright. I take one, someone else takes the other.
I'll take that other.
And I will try to open them.
You very easily take off the door, and I say that quite literally. You open it and it just sort of, it's not attached to anything, you know, noticed. It's just a bit of wood. You can look carefully that they did have a hinge at one point, but it's all rusted.
Alright, the one with the flashlight.
Yeah. So just to clarify, I want to have the flashlight and a pistol out ready. And I guess I'm going first.
And are you all following in?
Yep. Close behind, because that's my Amber, so.
Yes.
We'll follow in last, ready to provide that aerial support.
As you make the short descend and you enter this cellar, it's actually colder in here than what it was out there. It's really unpleasant. The walls are sort of like a duck egg blue, whether that's because of mold or paint, you're not really too sure at this point. There's a large boiler, like a big old tank. There's a washing machine, and there is what you think is an old person sitting on a wooden chair whose back is towards you. He's sort of balding, he's sort of losing his hair, and he's just sort of hunched over, sitting on this chair.
That's not our guy, is it? He looks nothing like the photo, but what do we do?
I will look up and very quietly say, Dieu, what am I to do?
I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm gonna see if this is our guy if I go up a little closer. And I'm actually gonna sneak up, if I can, behind that chair. And see if I can just get a better look. Gun at the ready.
So you gonna just get closer to him, or you're gonna walk around so you can see him in the eye, or what's the idea?
I'm going to walk around him in a way so I can get behind him, or at least at his side where he can't directly see me.
Oh, I've done that. I thought I said so. His back is only facing towards you, so he's sitting on this chair and his back is facing you.
Oh, okay, I see. So, I'll just be very quiet then, and I would like to sneak up to him and hold my gun against his head once I get there.
Dex and stealth, please.
Can do. Five successes.
5 successes. You practically as silent as the snow that is falling down from the side. So did you say your shotgun was in your hand?
Yes, I did.
Your shotgun is at the ready, and you are very silently moving towards him. But something interesting happens. Because when you go to place the shotgun at the back of his head, the end of the gun actually passes through it. Not that it's fleshy and it just pokes through, but you can literally see the gun through him.
That doesn't seem to be normal. They didn't mention holograms. I didn't know if these things could make holograms, but he's just transparent with my gun against the back of his head.
Yeah, as I said, your gun is kind of through his head, and as you're sort of it there, and you realise that it's through him like a hologram, it suddenly goes, "Where are my eyes?"
I think at the cry of "Where are my eyes?" Bethany would just jump back. I wasn't expecting this thing to move. I wasn't expecting it to be transparent. But full on just jump back, gun pointed, looking frantically back at my companions.
As you leap back, it sort of rises from the chair, kind of like someone's got a bit of string on its head and's just pulled it up. It turns its head round, and the face that looks at you is that of an old man with wrinkles and bags galore. But there's some interesting quirks, shall we say. His mouth is sort of stretched wide, like if somebody did a cartoon drawing of like a super angry face. Like the teeth are really gritted together, like he's gonna rip someone's fucking head off. But he literally has no eyes, just black sunken voids where his eye should be, just looking at you. And again, he will just look at the four of you and just sort of snarl, "Where are my eyes?"
If I point the torch at him, does the light just go through him?
It does, and you just kind of see that he has an interesting sort of bluish veil around him, kind of like an aura, I guess.
Okay.
Shaking a bit, I'm still holding the gun and pointing at him. I say, "Your eyes? I don't know. I don't know where your eyes are. It's all she can think. That's all I can think to do. I don't know if this is a ghost or if, they said they're a real thing, but
You watch it breathe in and out, but to say that it breathes is a weird word. Its chest moves in and out, kind of like someone's like pumping a balloon, and it moves in a rather exaggerated manner.
Well, this is not our guy. Sorry to bother you. Sir, you go and have a sit. We're just gonna keep going. Does he respond at all?
Heavy breathing, still with this taunt, gritted teeth look, trying to work out what to do with you. I want to say it's eyeing you up, but given the lack of eyes, that seems a little insensitive.
I'm just gonna try and move away from him and keep going, but I'm very much still being cautious, and I still have my eyes on him.
Oh, if Emily's moving, I'm right next to her.
yeah, Bethany's still on the ground, pointing her gun, looking at him. I'm just looking around him, there has to be a door or something we can walk through. If this is some illusion, I don't want to stay by it any further.
As a matter of fact, there is, to his right, your left, there is a series of steps that leads up somewhere. And the only one that hasn't moved some yet is Camille. What are you intending to do?
See if the man reacts when I talk to him.
what is it that you say?
Not even death could get you. Are you dead? We do not have your eyes.
Where are they?
Perhaps whoever is inside this house has your eyes.
So, who's looking, searching, wanting aid? And he stops his breathing and he looks at, notices 3 of you have started moving. You are here to help him. Give me my eyes! And he sort of begins to float forward, that hand extended towards you.
Oh.
I'm grabbing Emily. I'm running. I'm running up those stairs.
We're going.
There's
Kumi,
one way.
sorry.
Go ahead.
You first. What were you intending to do?
There's one response to this, and that is to unload my weapon at him.
Dex and firearms, please. Actually, no. Composure and resolve, because you said that you were shaky.
Got it.
And Camille, what is it your intentions when you see this ghost sort of shout and sort of float towards your companions?
I will ask for the aid of my god to give this man peace.
And I'm going to hazard a guess that you would, in order to do this, you would brand the symbol that's on your arm, correct? Or are you just praying?
No, you are correct.
In that case, I believe... what is it? Can you roll your resolve and your true faith for me, please?
No.
That would be 6 successes for my composure check. Not 6, 5.
Okay.
I'm thinking.
5
successes.
Two successes.
2 successes. Right. Okay, I need to make a quick roll for this old man spirit. That is also 2 successes, and I cannot remember if a tie goes to the attacker or the defender.
Tie goes to the attacker, I believe.
Alright? Then that's what we'll go with. So, we'll do the true faith stuff first. You begin to pray and brandish the cross that is on your arm, Camille, demanding that God was to give this ghost peace. Its attention is sort of taken to that, and it begins to howl and beckon away a little bit, sort of immobilise. Beth, you, despite your shakes and your worries, you center yourself for a moment, concentrate, and this large explosion-y blast just claps through the room. Those who have not heard of a gunshot before, your ears are beginning to ring rather loudly. It's a horrible experience, but the shell just goes right through him, and it hits the wall, and it creates a little mark and a dent in the wall. But you do notice that something has made him feel uncomfortable. Now, whether it's because of this praying, because you can't see what's going on, or whether it's because something you did with shooting him has caused the ghost to be uncomfortable. But something somewhere has caused this ghost to stop and sort of cower and hold its head.
I will take that as my cue to go up the stairs.
And I'm assuming the rest of you go up?
Oh yeah, I'm scrambling up from the floor and following.
Yeah. My ears are fucking ringing and I feel like they're bleeding, but I'm going up the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
Right. As you enter up the stairs, you find yourself in this sort of, I don't know, you think it's a kitchen, but you don't really recognise much of the furnishings around you. And as you're doing it, you hear little clicks and beeps in your earpieces. You kind of hear a voice, but it's mostly broken up by static.
I take out the earpiece and put it away. Alright, let's keep moving.
Sure, but there aren't more whatever the hell that was downstairs. Like, if they're immune to bullets, Jesus Christ, what have we gotten
Let's
ourselves
talking. It is no use to talk right now.
into? Bethany does nod. No use for panicking.
So, I guess gonna move the flashlight around the room. Try to get an idea of what this room looks like.
You think it might be in a kitchen. There's sort of the remains of a sink. The kitchen surface is all wet and dank. There's water just occasionally just dripping through, which is weird. Given something would be frozen here. And assuming that you're going to move out of the kitchen, or you staying in the kitchen for a bit?
Oh no, we're going. We're going.
For sure, you're all following the light, as it were.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the blind leading the blind, as it were. There's torches going around, more derelict furnishings, more derelict floors, rugs, and whatnot. You enter like what might have been a study or a fire, like a living room sort of space. There's an old fireplace that got logs on it. The logs, oddly enough, are the nicest looking thing in this room. There's a frame that had the remains of a photo there. There's a man that kind of resembles the individual that you just saw downstairs, but has some eyes. But there's also a taller figure, but the face has kind of been slashed out, or at least the top half of this individual, sorry, the bottom half of this individual has been torn out, and the face has just been kind of slashed with a knife or a pen or something. It's a shame because it looked like quite the expensive painting.
And of course, I get the impression that everything kind of looks broke down, old. Am I able to tell at all if anyone's been in here, like spots where dust is not collected, or...
That would require, I believe, wits and investigation. Now, if anybody else wants to do this, they can.
Okay, question. Can we burn a willpower?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
You
gonna...
can still...
I'm gonna do that. 1.
3 for
One.
me.
I have another.
Did anybody else... Okay. Okay. So, Beth, you rolled 3, Amber rolled 1. Yes? Cool. Amber, you've got no fucking clue what's going on. This place is in such a tip, and it's cold, and it's dusty, and it probably smells a bit too, but you can't really tell. But definitely, as this torch is being moved around, the light at some point stops, or at least passes through this table, and there's a square patch, or rather a rectangular patch, where there isn't dust. There's nothing there, but you can see that someone has put something there recently, or rather, something has been removed.
Huh. I'll point this out to the rest of the group. Looks like there's some kind of movement. I don't know, like a box or a coffee table. Either someone moved it, or it grew legs and walked on its own. And considering I've yet to see a walking table tonight, I'm starting to think it's the latter. Or rather, the former.
This guy, whoever it is we are looking for, he is here, and he is moving around. We better get to it.
Has God maybe pointed you in the direction or anything? I don't know how this thing works, because you said God works through you, so, maybe he could throw us a bone and point us in a direction.
If God decides to do that, he will do that.
Okay. Alright.
Just our JC's commands are, but let's start with clearing out this floor.
Alright.
That's a good idea.
Seems to be our only option.
So what is it that you're intending to do at the moment? You're just continuing to scan the room, or?
Oh gosh, I was gonna say I want to leave the room, and now I'm like, oh my god, did we leave something in here?
Oh, so when you said you're going to clear the room, I interpreted that you're going to carry on looking and just being certain, but partly down to you.
Just for safety's sake, and make sure there isn't just some empire hiding under a coat holder. I'm going to do one more scan before I leave the room.
Then you can roll me another wits and investigation.
Can do.
I would,
And for
but
Sorry.
I ain't got nothing for that anyway. So I think right now, Emily just wants to get the fuck out of here. So she's like, okay, cool. No vampires here. Moving on.
That'll be 4 successes.
4 successes. You're scanning again. You're, squinting at things in the dark. You're pretty certain that nothing else has been altered here. Like, nothing's been moved, nothing's been cleaned. It's no vampires hiding under a coat hanger, or there isn't any secret cupboard behind a bookshelf. And as you're peering through all of this, you hear a loud crash from upstairs and a loud muffled
I think that answers it for us.
Yep. So I guess with the flashlight heading that way quickly.
You follow the sound of the loud shout, and it leads you into a hallway, and there are some stairs that are going. I'm assuming you ascend.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, gun ready. Shotgun at the blazing.
Are you making any attempt to be quiet, or are you just gonna go up there?
I am definitely making an attempt to go quiet.
Anybody who is attempting to go stealthily requires a dex and stealth roll, please.
I'll try it. I just don't think it's gonna work very well.
Same here. Might as well give him an element of surprise.
2 on my part.
Mm-hmm.
4. 3 on mine.
I'm not attempting to go quietly. If they didn't hear the shotgun, then I don't think that they're going to hear us come up. So I'm not making an attempt. If they know we're here, they know by now.
Kind of a similar situation of what was happening before in the forest. Like, those that are attempting to be quiet and stealthy, like, every time you hear, like, the banisters, like, these steps creak, but you, Emily, it's like, thud, 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 thud. I'd imagine Camille's getting quite annoyed with this.
I will turn around.
Oh,
If
go
you
ahead,
can
sorry.
keep quiet, then stay downstairs.
Well, we've already set off a shotgun, so I don't really see the point.
Yes, and he knows we are in the house. He does not know where right now. And I will turn around and keep walking.
I will try and be a little bit quieter, but I don't have stealth. I think that is, what was the roll? To try to be stealthy?
Dex and stealth.
Okay.
Dex and
Alright.
stealth.
Let's see. I got 1 success again.
You're quieter. There is still the creaking and the thudding of stairs. It's not quiet, but if anybody who was generous would probably give you a pat on the back and said, an effort was made. I don't think the people here would probably give you that. Maybe Amber. But I don't think anybody else would be as nice.
I tried.
You tried. C- for effort. You get up these stairs. They're quite large, as you'd expect a house like this to be. And you reach the landing, and the noise is still going on. Things are being moved about. You hear muffled shouting. It sounds panicked. It sounds distressed. Someone is clearly looking for something. But whoever it is that's behind these doors is scared.
I want to do something shenanigans, but before I do so, I would like to let everyone else know. I would like to kick down the door with the shotgun, but if anyone else wants to do anything else,
The
feel
floor
free to
is
do
yours.
Go for it, Queen. Go for it.
Do it.
That being said, Beth, I'm going to just rush up to the front, kick down the door with my boot, pull the shotgun, then stop where you are right now, or I will put this through your fucking skull.
I'm going to restrain the storyteller comment for a second. I'm not going to make you do any rolls to that because the door does not have much structure left. You give the door a good old kick, it swings open. Inside this room it's like a library of some sort. There are books around, and there's a desk. There's some windows at the back, and the individual matches the picture. This is Oliver Seward. This is the vampire that you're looking for. And he looks around and he looks at you, wide-eyed. He looks frightened. You notice for a second that his mouth is sort of dropped because he's gas. And he had these fangs that are descended. And when he sees you, they kind of shoot back up again. And he looks at you and he says, "Who sent you?" Now, you have a feeling in your head that the most logical thing to do here is to tell him exactly who sent you. Why wouldn't you tell him?
Oh shit, I'm being dominated, aren't I? Would I be able to roll to resist the urge to tell him? Because I'm not going to tell a monster what he wants to know.
I don't think you can. I believe if you were a vampire and preparing for this, I'll just double check on the rules, but I do believe that there's jack shit you can do.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
No,
do anything.
there's not. There's not. But I do have a question. If Amber was
Ask away.
right behind her with the flashlight and pistol in hand, could Amber start firing as soon as she saw him?
Right? I'm going with that sword for the knees. I'm looking at the knees. The guy said no eyes, so I'm looking at the knees.
I will answer those questions in just a moment. I'm a bear and very little brain, and I can't read and answer questions at the same time.
You're
I
fine.
love how all other three of us are just like going for it, just like.
Yeah, I think
well, I'll stop. I will start with Beth first. No, you cannot resist this. You have to tell him who sent you. As for everybody else, I will allow you to open fire once Beth starts speaking.
Remind me of the last name of Gary. Not Gary. George. I keep calling him Gary.
Faraday.
We were sent by George Faraday. What?
This will be the moment I'll allow you all to open fire for dramatic emphasis.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Going for the knees.
Tell me exactly all your intentions, because you can enter the room if you wish. The floor is yours, as they say.
Oh yeah, no. Amber's going in. Pistol and flashlight. Open fire.
Yeah, once the shock wears off, Bethany is just gonna be loading shells into this man.
Emily is going in with the sword, right?
Yeah, I'm going for the knees. So I'm going low. I'm gonna try and make it look cool, where I'm like sliding in and like, but it probably won't work out that way. But we're trying.
You do that, I'll do the same in the exact opposite way.
Yes, this is gonna look so cool if it works.
Oh my gosh.
I don't actually know. I'm going to make one roll to see if he can dodge any of this. And if he fails, you can have your way with him, because there's quite a lot going on here. He's quite outnumbered. Where is this? He
Guess I could keep.
He doesn't have a lot. He doesn't have a lot to go here with. Ooh, one the pop shield, and that is a dramatic failure and a half. I will say in that moment that he is just overwhelmed with all four of you, just blasting the shotgun. It sends him flying across, and it hits him in the chest, and he hits the table. He sort of slumps on his knees. Just you with the pistol, just bang, bang, bang. Just he ain't going down. And those are the swords. Remind me, what is it that you're doing?
We're each going for a leg, I think. Just opposite sides, going for the knees. We each got one side.
Right. Whilst he is down and having blast after blast just taken at him, what are these vampires made out of? Even when you're just hacking away at the knees, he's not giving. But eventually, he's down to his last breath. Now kind of legless, sort of wheezing, kind of clawing his way through, digging his nails in his manky carpet. Then something interesting happens. No, he doesn't grow them back. No, he doesn't find a newfound strength. But something lifts him up out of nowhere and tosses him to the side like an angry child with a toy. Just thumps him against the bookcase, smacks the bookcase and drops to the floor, knocking the last bit of life out of him.
No.
Sorry, I'm just in shock.
Right, pretty much. I'm going to... I imagine Emily's a bit out of breath. It's not that she's, chopping off body parts on the daily. So, like, a bit... barely standing, I'm gonna, turn around and see if there's another person here with us. Because something did that.
Yeah, I'm just looking between them. You saw that too, right?
Emily, when you turn around, you do notice that you are not alone in this room. The doors are now also shut. A tall woman, well over 6 foot tall, wearing this sort of very fine dress, sort of like a black fringe just covering her eyes, sort of looking downwards, sort of lowering her hand. Clearly, this is the individual that has just tossed the amputee vampire about.
Mommy? Sorry.
I want to get right in front of Emily.
I will hold my sword out towards her and say, "Are you another monster?"
You are monsters, and you are in my house! Can you roll your willpower for me, please, Camille?
I sure can.
Girls, I think we've girl bossed too close to the sun.
We're meeting the ultimate girl
2
boss.
successes, baby.
2 successes. As this woman sort of snarls at you and flings her hand forward, you too fly backwards and you hit the window, causing a massive crack. You haven't gone through it yet, but that did hurt. Please take 2 points of superficial damage.
I do not just stand there looking.
Listen, lady, we were just here for him. We're gonna go now.
No, we aren't. I'm just gonna point my shotgun back at her. Looks like you're on our list, and if you don't start talking right now about what the fuck you are, you're gonna end up like a friend over there.
She just flung him and then flung our homegirl. I don't know who.
Silence, you whores! And flings her arms forward. Can the pair of you roll your willpowers, please?
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Question. Because Amber was in front of Emily.
Oh boy.
We'll deal with that in a moment.
Okay.
Depends how Emily
Okay.
rolls.
Alright, just the willpower?
Just your willpower.
I got 2.
5.
5. The pair of you do move backwards. Whatever this force is has, like, it's kind of like someone has like maneuvered your body, your skeletons to go flying backwards. Now, definitely you don't. You kind of like move back and it'll be able to fight it and not move so far back. Emily, on the other hand, isn't so fortunate, and she does go flying roughly the same distance that Camille did, and now the buffer, however, is Amber, who is sort of knocked on the ground. So Emily hits Amber, Amber falls down, sort of hits her head hard, and Amber sort of flies that extra distance. And because of this unpleasant buffer, you shall be taking 1 point of superficial damage. There is some that hurt, but because of your partner, yeah.
Oh, so I'm left standing then. Interesting. I think as this thing throws my friends back, considering all friends now, we reached that point in character development. Bethany's just gonna, do the, super soldier moment, smirk. I've dealt worse with you in Berlin, and just open fire on this giant woman.
That'd be Dex and firearms, please.
Can do. Sorry, I'm like, that's a lot of dice. Do I really get that much? I have to check. Five successes?
That's a lot of damage. I would be saying if the shell didn't pass through her and hit the other door.
Oh no! Just the confident smirk is wiped off my face. Just, oh no.
This very tall ghost woman slowly looks down at her chest, where that shell would have gone, and slowly looks up again at you. Amber, is there anything that you would like to do before we deal with that little incident?
Obviously, bullets don't work. And so Emily is prone, right? Emily is on the ground, right? I'm gonna be that person. I'm gonna pick her up and I just want to go. Get the fuck out.
No fair.
I don't care about the rest of y'all. I'm just gonna be real.
So you shall be running back to Emily.
Yeah. Try to pick her up and go.
Alright. So, and Camille?
I am not planning to run. I will try to stand up and shakily say to her, "Are you the other one he was talking about?"
So I didn't catch that. You cut out a little bit on my end.
Are you the other one he was talking about?
She doesn't answer, for her attention is focused on Beth now. Beth,
Oh yeah, it is.
could you roll your willpower one more time, please?
I sure can. The dice spot's been nice to me. Please continue. Oh my god, 8 successes. Thank God. That's a critical success.
8 successes. And I do have to roll for this one now. I'm not the best person when it comes to counting the dice. I have to take my time. I will be spending a point of individual's willpower.
You know, it's fun playing VTM and it's against other mortals. It's not so fun when you are the mortal.
Okay, so big ghost lady got 7 successes, and you got 8. Extends her hand, and you feel some force around your throat that's trying to choke and lift you. Neither of which are hurting you, but you feel uncomfortable, and you're trying to fight your ability to stay on the ground. It's working so far, but I saw that. But you're clearly having to struggle to keep yourself in place, so nothing too bad happens to Bethany
So far.
so far. So Emily and Amber, you two were just going to get the fuck out of there, yes?
Yeah.
Yep,
I'm getting
dropping
Emily
the sword.
and going.
The sword's not gonna do anything to Ghost Lady. So sword dropped. Going with Amber.
Now, as you attempt to run through, I have to ask a question. Do you run around this ghost, or do you run through them?
You know, we're looking for speed. I'm barreling. I am
Yeah.
like football through the ghost. Let's go.
Bullets can go through, surely people can go through, right?
Hopefully.
That's the logic for anything.
That is some sound logic, and yes, you are able to run past her. But something interesting happens in that when you pass through her out of this library and into this hallway, that coldness that you felt in the cellar just completely overwhelms you for a hot minute. Coldness, hot minute, poor choice of words. It overwhelms you for a second. Like, for a second, you feel extraordinarily tired and drained, and just the thought brushes through your mind of, what's the point of doing any of this? And for a second, you feel overwhelmed and sad. And if it wasn't for the two of you being together, you might be tempted just to stay a bit longer and just to cement on these feelings. And I'm going to ask you both to remove a permanent point of willpower.
Oh no.
And I ask the pair of you what your respective willpowers are now.
Altogether 4, but I've spent 1.
I've got
So you're
4
permanent.
now.
Okay. Cool. And we're back to Camille.
I said what I wanted to say. She does ignore me still.
Mhm.
All right. Yet again, a lost soul. I see. God, please give me strength here to bring her final death. It is your love, after all, to bring death. You
Can
will
I have-
know.
You roll your resolve. So I didn't realise you hadn't finished, so my bad.
No worries. The only thing I was going to say is you will know true death. And yeah, I'll roll resolve and true faith.
True faith.
This is not a big dice pool.
I'm gonna call it on American Jesus. He has guns. We need something.
2 successes.
Lost. How many, sorry?
2.
I lost one of my dice on my floor, so I'm going to have to roll another one.
The dreaded floor dice, how dare you?
Mm-hmm.
Floor.
Although.
You've... Come.
No. Go on.
Okay. Once more, Big G in the sky hears your prayer, and you feel his energy channel through you, his devotion, his trust in you, one of his holy lambs as you brandish the symbol on your hand. But it means jack shit because the woman has not budged.
But I feel his guidance.
And she has resisted the calling of God.
No.
She does not wish to transcend. She is just a rancid creature filled with hate and anger.
I will take up my sword and try to run at her again.
It'll be a dex and melee, please.
Six successes.
You take a very proud swing at her that anybody in that situation would have thought you handled sharp pointed things before, but it just passes through her, and the way that her body, for lack of a better word, it just sort of wafts like smoke before rejoining itself again. And she stops trying to do whatever she is just to Beth, because you can see that her eyes and her face and everything sort of returns to normal, and she can breathe a bit more. But she's now looking at you. And I'm going to ask you to roll your willpower.
As they say, praying for you.
Smash me in the ball again, mommy. Yeah. 2 successes.
2 successes against 6. Right, this is what happens. Very similar to before, she extends her hand and she tries to raise you up as she did Beth a moment ago. Only this time she succeeds, and you feel this agonizing squeeze around your throat, and it's kind of like that someone has actually, if you were a drawing, somebody has just rubbed out your throat and just pushed it in a little bit more. This is a choking sensation unlike any other, and we'll deal with that in a moment. What is your action, Bethany?
Bullets don't work. Her God doesn't work. I feel hopeless, but I'm gonna leave her behind. Crazy nun serial killer she might be. I'm just gonna look at this woman and say, what do you want? I'll give it to you. Whatever. I'll tell you who sent us. Just put her down. Please.
arm is extended. She's sort of choking Camille, and her head pivots round and looks at you again. You cannot give me my house back.
Sorry, what did she say there? I cannot give her what back? You cut out a bit for me.
Harold.
Harold. Oh. Yeah, I kind of did. Oh no. Sorry. Yeah, there's a stinking feeling in my gut now. God, I don't want to leave Camille behind. Actually, can I grab Camille, what parts of her body, and just try to pull her out of this woman's grasp? Or, like, worm her out? Like, I don't have her oiled up, but, like, can I just wiggle her out the best I can? She's only got one hand on her throat.
Well, she's not even touching her, she's just an arm extended and Camille was being raised supernaturally.
Oh.
But by all means, you can try and... It means she went back up mysteriously, she can come back down forcibly.
That's
Maybe.
what's worked for me so far.
So, in that case, could you roll for me? How exactly are you going to do this? Because I think the way that you handle this will be the way that will determine the role that you will do.
Just with every fiber of my being, she's coming down no matter what, no matter how much earthly strength I have. Just with.
So,
like,
are you gonna pull her? You're gonna wriggle her? You're gonna tackle her? How is it that you're gonna?
I'm gonna try and wriggle her out. Whatever supernatural web has her, there has to be a way out. There always is a way out.
I applaud your optimism, but we shall see what the dice says. Can you roll for me strength and athletics?
Oh boy, my can do.
Oh boy, she's going to spend some more willpower.
That didn't go well for me. That's one success. I leave 2 die in that pool.
Well, for some weird dumb luck, perhaps she didn't expect it, but you go over there and you sort of very quickly like corkscrew her down, and she drops to Camille drops to the floor. You are able to very easily get her out of this grip.
As soon as she's down, I'm just yanking her up by the shoulders. Come on, let's go. We gotta get out of here. This thing, run.
Camille will, perhaps not expectingly so, take Bethany's hand and run to the door.
We'll go back to Emily and Amber, because I'm going to assume that this whole hoisting and tackling didn't take that long. So you dart out the room. Would it be fair to assume that maybe you two are holding hands as you're running?
Absolutely.
As I thought. And you're running, you're heading towards the stairs, and you're beginning, all of you begin to see and feel that the house is beginning to shake and crumble. Camille and Beth, this happens as Camille and Beth begin to run out the room, and this woman just wails at the top of her voice, just screaming, "Give me my Harold!" So you run out, things are falling down, the roof is coming down, the stairs are beginning to crack open. You sort of leap and jump and make sure that you're not going to get hit. And to that end, can everybody roll to Dex and Survival, please? Or Dex and Athletics, whichever is higher.
Can do.
I'm gonna spend a willpower. Just so you know.
As am I.
3 successes.
Ooh. That was the best spit
That's
willpower
much better.
ever.
1. And Bethany?
0 successes.
0 successes.
On the willpower reroll, so that's 1 total. I had a 5 type roll. My girl bossing had to run out at some point.
This is what happens. As I said, bits of the house are falling. Furniture is being tossed about. The stairs are going, and you're all running towards the front door from which was left ajar before you went to the cellar. Most of you manage to escape the debris. Emily gets hit by a bit of wood and is knocked to the ground. Bethany, however, the floor breaks, and you have fallen through it. Now, if you roll for me a Dex and Athletics roll, and you succeed, I will allow you to grasp on to it, rather than fall into God knows where.
I do not want to end up in the... Actually, that's a lie. I wouldn't mind being the Vampire Lady's dungeon, but... I'll roll to escape. 2 successes?
The exact amount. The floor gives in, and you're able to quickly grab with an arm, just holding on to this floorboard. Now, do you look down?
Bethany's never been a woman of sound judgment. That's why she was in prison. Of course, she looks down.
All you see is black. You have no idea how far this is going to go. If you fall, you're pretty certain you're going to either be stuck down there, or you're going to... Well, one way or another, you're probably going to die down there, either through impact, or no one's going to come and find you, and you'll just die of starvation.
I am fully scrambling, like, just clawing at the floor, just trying to get a good hold. I can't fall down there. I can't. I'm this close to freedom.
So Camille, Amber, and Emily. Now Emily has been hit by furniture and was knocked to the ground. So what the three of you do? The three of you hear the floor give, and you turn, and you see these little hands, singular, holding on to the floorboard as the whole house is coming down around you.
I hate to be that bitch, but my intention is just to get Emily and get the fuck out.
You know what? Save your girlfriend.
Emily's gonna push off what knocked her down, and she's gotta do what's right.
Can I try to drag her away?
Hey, we can do a contest of strength or athletics, or strength and brawl, whichever one of those two is higher for you two.
Oh, it's the same either way.
Camille, what are your actions here? You're running and you hear the floor give, and you turn and you see that Bethany is hanging on with her little diddy hand.
I turn around and I see the hand. And I just say, it is the will of God. And I keep running.
5 successes.
5.
And none for Emily. The power of love conquers all, as somebody once said. And despite your best intentions, Emily, Amber's like dragging you out of there like she's gone. Now, because I'm in a generous mood, Bethany,
Yes.
we are going to play a game of odds and evens.
Oh no.
Come on, girl, you got this. Girl boss.
Girl boss, you're right, girl boss. I love all this, by the way. It's just like, oh my god. Okay. Let's go odds.
Odds, and you will find the strength either to, lift yourself up with one hand, or some miracle will happen.
Let go of that shotgun.
Evens. We'll see. Despite your best efforts, through your struggling and your panicking, you can't seem to hold on to it much longer. And the floor gives. And you plummet down into the cold dark. The other three can probably hear Bethany scream. A blood-chilling scream. Can I ask Bethany, what is it that's on your mind? Your last thoughts as you plummet to God knows where?
As that pure terror just shoots through my mind, it's that last little bit of defiance in me comes up and says, you died free. I'm never gonna have to deal with those walls again. And I fade into black.
Fear is replaced with peace. The three of you escape the house just as its foundations begin to fully cave in on itself. This mansion stands no more. And that, I believe, is a rather morbid place to end our story.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Amazing!
I am so sorry. I've never killed on a player character before, and it just was my
Look at you.
girlfriend's character.
You got me crying.
To be fair, you didn't kill her off, we all killed her off.
It was a collective kill. That was so amazing. That was such a Camille thing to do. Oh my god.
So I am looking for somebody to raid. I think I just found... Yeah, Vancouver adjacent's on. That is the only vampire thing I'm seeing. So I will get that raid set up.
Hell yeah.
Thank you again, Lore. This has been amazing.
Good
Thank
soup.
you ever so much for having me and allowed to run this interesting game with you all. You're all amazing.
And now we are all vampire hunters running around. Street will never be safe again.
We are about to raid. I didn't realize it'd be that fast. I'm sorry.
That's alright.
Mods, drop the socials of everybody. Oh, nope.
It went. It went.
Already
It went. It went.